119 is the magic number, but the question is, which one of the Glasgow Giants is going to hit it tomorrow? Welcome back to Fog Football. Big Phil, 5 Old Firm games without a win. Brendan Rodgers wins everything, never lost at Hampden. Something must give, or might just Brendan Rodgers just roll off into the sunset on his horse, and Big Phil will end up with egg on his face. New CEO on Monday. Could it be game over, or could it be game on?
Game on. If Big Phil wins, Rangers retake the lead. Most successful trophies, and maybe momentum swings Rangers' way. But if Brendan Rodgers wins, then here it could be Philippe Clement's last Old Firm game. And nobody wants to leave the post at an Old Firm club without a single victory.
Absolutely.
Especially when you've played half a dozen. Maybe you've only played a couple, then it's not that bad.
Especially when there's no excuse. Alright, this isn't 2015. This is 2024, 23. The gap's not what it once was, even though some people would lead you to believe there was light years between them right now. I mean, if Rangers can draw against Tottenham, right, and beat teams in the Europa League, there's no excuse for the constant defeats against Celtic, man.
Absolutely. You can't be an Old Firm manager if you're not capable of beating the other side of Glasgow. And so far, Clement has not shown that he's capable.
And one thing about Clement, right, if he is ever to have a successful Rangers career, I think he has to win this game, because I think if he doesn't, he's at the door, alright? But saying that, I don't think if Rangers win this Premier Sports Cup, that doesn't guarantee success. I think that just buys him a lot of time. He still could be gone at the end of the season, even if he wins this.
And if Rangers don't win
the only road for success starts with this motorway service station tomorrow. When he pulls in and fills up, is he going to put in petrol? Or is he going to put in diesel?
Fills up.
Or is he going to put in a big load of shite? I don't know what he's going to do.
Is he
I'm
gone?
looking forward to it.
Is he gone if he loses?
Fuck he's gone.
Definitely. Monday morning?
Well, I don't know. It has to go for me if he loses. You can't lose 6 games or not winning 6. A cup final here, a cup final there, bottling the league. It's unacceptable, man.
Is this the most confident you've been going into a cup final or an Old Firm game in general? I mean,
since when?
In a long time?
No, because...
Are you less confident now than you were the previous ones?
Last season, man. I mean, people would lead you to believe that everyone expected Celtic to win every Old Firm last year. The first Old Firm last season, Rangers were expected to win, didn't. Beale got sacked a few weeks after it. The second one, the form was with Rangers, right? And they ended up, getting beat at Parkhead. Then, the next two, alright? Parkhead, they lost again. But they drew at Ibrox 3 each in a game that everyone expected them to kind of go on and win, right? And then the other one, Celtic were shit and Rangers were shit, but Celtic just got that goal in the last minute with the Butland mistake. See last season, right? The Old Firms were decided by a goal. It's only this season where they won 3-0, and now we're all led to believe because of the gap and all this that the gap is absolutely mammoth. The fact of the matter is this.
It's a close gap, and you think Clement can close it?
No, I think the gap's... I'm not saying the gap's close, but I think it's a bit smaller than what everyone's making out. If Phil can fucking win this game, man, we're not talking about going to the Bernabeu against the Galacticos here. We're talking about Hampden Park. 11-11.
50-50
And as Brendan Rodgers rightfully said, Celtic have earned their money, alright? Because Big Phil talking about Tottenham and Celtic out of our league financially. Rangers blown their money. I've seen people use the excuse that, Rangers, Celtic benefited from all the money because we were put down in the lower leagues. Yeah, but that was a mismanagement of the club. That's not Celtic's fault that they capitalised on it. You know what I mean? See, when Celtic dropped the ball in the 90s, it's not Rangers. It's not Rangers' fault for winning leagues then, is it?
It's very rare that Celtic have a player that you can value double figures and they hold on to him and in the end he goes for nothing. Rangers have done that with a lot of players over the years.
Yep.
The two that spring to mind the most would be Kent Morelos. Two guys that at one point were, easily double-figure territory.
Yep.
Ended up going for pretty much nothing. That Celtic don't allow that to happen, so maybe Rangers just need to take better care of their finances and take better care of their assets. And sometimes you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. That wee tune for GTA. Aye, well, that's what Rangers need to do.
I don't know if it was in GTA, was it?
I think it was.
Well, GTA, I tell you what though, right, it's time to talk about the team news. We know how big this game is. We'll get into our predictions sooner rather than later. But team news, Celtic, Alistair Johnson missed training, but Rodgers says he's fit for the final. No real other injury news for Celtic. The midfield is the debate though.
Well, let's say he does miss.
I think it's a big.
Is that a big? I mean, how big How big a difference
See,
does that make?
I'm not going to get reeled in, right, and get a false sense of security.
Like, see if Ralston starts, are you like, oh, we're favourites now, Rangers? Or?
No, but because look at last season, Celtic were playing second string defences, and we still couldn't get the job done. To me, it doesn't matter if it's the weakest Celtic team or the strongest. This Rangers team, for whatever reason, can't get it over the line. So, obviously, yeah, against a weaker one, you'll be like, well, there's more chance. If there's no Carter Vickers or Kyogo or Maida, guys who walk us like fucking dogs, if they're not here, then I'll accept that.
Well, based on that, what player do you think Celtic would miss the most? If you could pick one player from a Celtic to not start tomorrow, who would you pick?
It depends on who starts for Rangers.
So you've got a wild card.
If Dyson Maida starts for Celtic, then if James Tavernier starts for Rangers, then I don't want Maida starting, right? But at the same time, Carter Vickers is a great defender. But then you look at Kyogo, who owns us.
I've seen people say that Brendan Rodgers might try to Uno reverse Philippe Clement and not start Maida. Because he believes that Clement's going to not start Tavernier. But to me, that's retarded.
I think that's Uno reversing himself.
Because even if Clement doesn't start Tav, that doesn't mean that somehow Maida's still not Celtic's best option on the left. Why would you not start Maida regardless of who's playing?
No, I don't get that.
Right back for Rangers, that makes no sense. But I've seen a lot of people say that.
And who would you start then?
James Forrest, that makes no sense to me.
No, it makes no sense to me, but...
Someone that actually came on scoreboard and brought that up.
I've seen someone say, here, give Celtic the next 8 or 9 league titles. We want to win something in Europe. And it was a Rangers fan.
Does he not realise the next 8 or 9 would take them to the magical 10 and beyond?
Fucking 10. It would take them to about 17 or something, man. It's just, Anyway, team news for Celtic. As we said, Alistair Johnson's the only question mark, but I think he will start.
So apart from that, it's a fully fit team.
Looks that way.
100%, well.
As for the midfield, Rio Atati, McGregor, Bernardo, Engels seem to fall out of favour, even though I think Atati's been the worst midfielder. For me, I think it's got to be a midfield free from a Celtic perspective of McGregor, Bernardo and McCoy. I think Atati and Engels, which is funny enough because they're the two that's worth the most, they feel like they've dropped the ball recently. Their form's not that good.
They have, to be fair.
Like, Atati's been pissed. See, apart from that Aberdeen goal, which was great, he's not been that good.
Well, I've never rated either, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm annoyed or shocked or worried or, any of those things about his surprised about his form. But Engels, I think when he came in, did look like a really good player. Now, there were some people that jumped the gun. I remember Gordon Dalziel saying that he was better than O'Reilly after one game, and what a fucking dumb comment that looks like now. But I think when Engels came in, you could see an £11 million player in him.
Yep.
But over the past 2 months, I think the only thing keeping Engels starting for Celtic is that price tag. I don't think he's starting based on performances.
No, I agree, but
I don't think
he's not starting like 2 in a row, and he'll start the third.
I think if Hatate and Engels, if Hatate wasn't linked to big moves in England, and that's the thing. Hatate as well. Alright, he might not cost that much, but we've seen him being linked with big money moves, and if Celtic end up dropping him, if he comes 4th, 5th in the pecking order, then that's going to surely affect the value that Celtic can get from him. So they need to try and protect their assets as well. But for me, McCowan and Bernardo should get more game time, but they're not going to start this match, I don't believe.
No, even though I think they should. But it's a tough one, right? Because I think Bernardo and McCowan should start, but then at the same time, if they don't start, it's like they're the ones in form. But then I think Atati and Engels, they've got that quality in a dead game, just to ping one for 30 yards. I'm not saying McCoy and Bernardo don't, they do, but I think Atati's the one with the special thing in his locker.
I think
We've seen it against Aberdeen.
I'd say to all the midfielders, McCowan's the guy most likely to create a goal or create an assist.
Either way, I don't see a midfield free getting picked for Celtic that makes me go, oh aye, get into them, Rangers. We're going to dominate that midfield.
I think it'll be. I think Hatate will start, and I think it's probably maybe 60-70% Engels, and then maybe Bernardo.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be McGregor, Hatate, then either Engels or Bernardo.
The Rangers midfield held up pretty well against the Spurs midfield of, Madison, Bentancur and Basuma.
The B team.
The B team. And if it can hold up against those three, which, here, are they better than the Celtic midfield? Money would suggest they are. Are they in reality? Who knows? But let's move on to the Rangers team, because the Celtic team picks itself. I mean, Schmeichel in the back four is just going to be in there. The midfield, as we've discussed, in the front three, it's obviously going to be Maida, Kyogo and Kuhn. It can't be any other front three. But for Rangers, John Souttar, he went off injured against Tottenham.
Not looking good for him, is it?
It's not looking good for him. Now, Big Phil, he did say there's a chance. But I don't honestly, I don't even care about the centre backs. It's that right back position. It has to be Dujon Sterling every day of the week, man. It cannot be Tav. Chris Boyd's saying, "Oh, it has to be Tav." Is Chris Boyd blind?
Does Tav have to start, but potentially not at right back?
No, because Tierney has to start on the right.
Can Tav play somewhere else?
No. I see Tav, right? See if we are chasing the game or you need a goal or whatever. I think bringing Tav on, I would rather bring Tav on up front than Dessers, because Tav's a better finisher. Dessers is done. His time has came, right? But for me, the Rangers team would be Butland, Yefte, Souttar, Balogun, Sterling, Raskin and Diamonde, both of whom I think had their best games in a Rangers shirt against Tottenham. On the left, I would go with Igamane through the middle, Hadji, Tierney on the right, and Danilo up front. Igamane, obviously, he came off a wee bit early against Spurs, but Hadji and Danilo didn't even feature because they're ineligible.
No Barami?
No.
No Barron?
No Barron or Barami. Honestly, I like the fact that Phil tried Yilmaz and Yefte both down the left-hand side. There's options. It's like, if what Rangers do doesn't work in the first 45, at least I feel like now they can try something different.
Those players, do you think there's to change?
Yeah, like Barami can come on, Barron can come on, or if they start, then the other guys can come on.
Some options.
Yeah, and like, Dessers is pish, he should be nowhere near the team. And that is the problem if Igamane and Danilo both start and you need a goal. But then that's what I said earlier, like 3 minutes ago. I think Tav's the guy to get a goal.
Captain Tav.
Like, as pish as he is defensively, even though I thought he was pretty good against Tottenham, apart from the goal, which is a very funny thing to say, because if you don't concede it, you win. He made a few great blocks against Solanke, but for me, Dessers can't be anywhere near this team. I even seen the reaction of Tav when he's seen that Dessers was getting brought on. He was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" He couldn't believe it. But anyway, guys, that is the team news. It is simply. It's a game that Rangers simply cannot afford to lose. I feel like this, I'm going to label this as a turning point. I honestly feel like if Rangers lose this game, there is no turning back.
This season or forever?
For the foreseeable future.
Well, yeah.
This is history. This is Celtic going above them.
Yeah, we always hear people talk about, we're the most successful club in world football. I mean, that title will be officially gone.
Like, I'm not delusional, right? I think Celtic's going to overtake Rangers because it just looks that way. But if you can limit it while you're in the rebuild,
then it's easier to claw back.
Exactly. And
rather than allow Celtic to get
and you know what?
Shitload of
I don't care about what games after this. I don't care about the league's done, right? It's 11 points.
But here's the thing.
They need to give 127% into this game and get it over the line. Clement can whip out, right? Oh, it's not about me, it's about the players. Mate, it is about you. You pick the players. You're the manager. He basically said he doesn't care. It's about the players. They need to show if they care. Mate, the manager needs to care. He needs to be press trained. But here, Rodgers never lost to Hampden. That's crazy. And you know what? There's no excuses. Celtic, yeah, they've got the better team.
Well, there's a first time for everything.
Exactly, Phil. Am I going to back Big Phil? Am I going to go to the hill on Big Phil? I don't know. You go first. I'll think about it.
What am I going to go with? Rangers, Celtic having the extra 2 days rest. That could be important. You know what? I do think Celtic's went off the boil a wee bit recently. I think over the past couple of weeks, Rangers have improved and Celtic have got worse.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going 2-1 Rangers.
2-1 Rangers.
I'm going Philippe Clement to turn it around.
Right.
Igamane, brace. And they might take him to Ibrox and build a statue.
For a morale victory of the sweetest kind. I think Rangers need. I think it's the biggest must win almost in the history, because this is like a lifetime in the making event here of the trophy count being overtaken. They need to leave everything out there, And I tell you what, hell have no fury like Big Stevie Cool at full time if that team hasn't put in a above standard performance, because I will be going fucking through them player by player. It'll be nuclear.
So that's it. You can accept losing as long as it's a good performance and the effort there.
Oh no, I know. I think it's must win. Honestly, part of me doesn't even care about the performance, but I'm telling you, see if it's lackluster and it's what we've seen, and there's a lack of effort. Fuck the lot of them. It's all or nothing.
All or nothing for Big Phil. Big Phil's going to go all in on Sunday. Can Brodgeball stop him? We'll have to wait and see. Another game on Sunday we'll be talking about, I'm sure, after that. Hearts taking on Kelly. Massive game in the Scottish Premiership. Two teams fighting a relegation battle as well. So, let's talk about, guys, on Sunday. Scottish Premier Sports Cup final. We're going to crown the first champions of the season. Who will it be? Will it be Rangers retaining their League Cup title? Or will it be Celtic winning the League Cup title once again and going ahead of Rangers in the trophy count? No matter who wins, no matter what the outcome is, somebody is going to move on to 119. And the question is, who's it going to be? Well, check out Sunday, guys, the review, and we'll have all the action discussed there. And all the fallout, all the aftermath, and all the good shit. Till next time, peace.